What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. So we talk a lot in character analysis videos about how characters mix-up is weak, or their mix-up can be weak without high blocks and assists like Yamcha, Base Goku, Kid Buu, etc. So I actually wanted to go back and look at what type of mix-ups there are in the game and how to hit people if you necessarily don't have strong mix-ups with your team. If you like the content I'm putting out, consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not. It does help the channel grow and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So while most fighting games basically have the same type of mix-up, Dragon Ball has kind of simplified it in that they keep on taking mix-ups away from characters or making it hard to mix up without assist or without specific type of assists. So let's quickly review. So one, we have high-low mix-up. For example, Kid Buu, everyone basically does the same thing here, where they can do that and call him. Or we have the very common Super Dash plus assist call. Now, if you do high-low mix-up right, it's really nice because the high and the low hit at the same time, so they can't use any defensive techniques to block it. They kind of just have to block it the right way. And if you're very fortunate, and this is why people like Kid Buu so much, your high-low mix-up will come from airtight block stun, so your opponent can't really like guard cancel or like reflect or jump out. They basically have spark out of block stun or just take the mix up. It's a really strong type of mix up. In the case of things like Super Dash assist, it's nice that if they block the Super Dash, you get the airtight high low, but the opponent can still interact with the Super Dash itself. Now we have also left right mix up. So now, the real important thing about left-right mix-ups is that there needs to be some type of gap, because the game will block for you if it's all block stun. So you need to leave a gap so that the opponent has to block the right way, but then also the gap has to be small enough so that they can't vanish out of it or 2H you. Now finally we have poke throw mix-up. This one is another pretty straightforward one. It's either I'm going to jab you, aka attack you, or I will grab you if I think you're going to block. Now, unlike high-low mix-ups, you don't necessarily have to hit at the same time. For the most part, you kind of can't, depending on what you're doing, but it's the idea of that you're using your attacks to aim for your opponent's defensive options like mashing or jumping or vanish, and if you think they're going to block, you grab them. So for the most part, all mix-up in Dragon Ball falls into one of these three categories. Now, however, like I said before, they take away a lot of these mix-ups from characters. So for instance, Bardock is a really good example because once upon a time, you were able to do this into a mix-up, into a high-low mix-up. Now you can't really do that anymore. So what other ways can we use to get mix-ups? So here we can rely on conditioning the opponent to let us do certain things. Super Dash assist call is definitely one of them. Your opponent can unquestionably do something about this, either reflect or 2H you. The 2H is really high return for them, but if you enforce it with frame traps, then they will not be able to do so. But also we can use Dragon Rush and 6M to condition people as well. Remember that in Dragon Ball the damage is relatively high, so if you get a 6M hit, you can get some damage here. And similarly, Dragon Rush as well always leads into a full combo. Now, while I just said it is true, without a high blocks and assist, Bardock's mix-ups are not that great. With 6M and Dragon Rush, Bardock is really good at bringing people from the air to the ground, so your return on things like this can be quite high. For example, I have 4 bars here. So when you cash out, now my normal about 3,000 damage Dragon Rush is going to do close to 7,000 damage. And that's just from a throw. So despite Dragon Rush being reactable and there are ways to deal with it, it is an important part of the game, and being able to use Dragon Rush and 6M well will help you a lot in case your characters don't have good airtight mix-ups. So the reason why I put Dragon Rush and 6M together is because you can use 6M in a Dragon Rush situation. So to be quite honest, if you're just doing like strings into 6M, you're probably not going to hit even intermediate players that often with your 6M unless you're playing like really laggy matches. But if you use 6M well with your Dragon Rush pressure, you can do a much better job of hitting people. Why? Because of the way that Dragon Rush works and how defending Dragon Rush works. You can choose to tech Dragon Rush with buttons, or you can choose to tech it with Dragon Rush. So for the most part, 6M will beat all the ways that people try to tech unless they are mashing. So for example here, I have Broly doing 6M after a jab. If I'm trying to tech it like a Dragon Rush, I get counter hit. If I 2L here, I get hit. If I 2H here, I get hit. If I Dragon Rush, I also get hit. So in the case where I have a low blocks and assists like Trunks A, we can use it to create a situation that's harder to defend against than normal. So here I'll do my best to defend. So while it looks like I'm doing a pretty decent job getting through this, the one thing you got to remember is that the Dragon Rush just has to hit one time, or the 6M just has to hit one time for you to get the return. If they keep blocking, you get to keep your offense, especially if they block like a 6M, you get to go into a clash situation. But all it takes is one hit to turn it around, and you can pay attention to how your opponent likes to defend to get you through this. So for instance, if I tech with Dragon Rush like a lot of people tend to like to do, I get hit twice here. Calling Piccolosis would lead to a combo. So in the case that you don't have one of the core 3 mix-ups in your character's toolkit, you can use Dragon Rush and 6M to kind of aim for your opponent's defense and try to get a hit. It is definitely harder than using, just like a high-low or a good left-right or having a command grab, but if you can do it well, the return can be pretty high and it is functionable. Now also, depending on your character, you might have some type of offense that you can sneak in on people. So Team Gohan is a really good example of this. Team Gohan has an instant cross-up. His JL is very fast, and there's a spacing where it just hits you mid-screen. Now, the tricky thing about this is that it's from technically minus frames. This is -3, but it's fast enough that it's unreactable. So here you're again counting on conditioning to get your opponent. So this is something you can sneak in if you think your opponent is scared of you or you think they're respecting you really hard. Not all characters have ways of doing this, but again, characters like Team Gohan, Tien, and Zamasu all have these in their toolkits. Similarly, SSJ Goku kind of has the reverse. He can stay in front by using dash, TK, Kamehameha. Again, so it's about 18 frames, so it's really fast / unreactable, but again, you're counting on your opponent respecting you there, so you have to make sure you sneak it in and mix up how you do your offense because it's not from guaranteed block stun. Now, if your character doesn't have a tool like that, the last thing you could try is a same side super dash. Now, in my opinion, this is reactable, but you have to practice defending it, and most people don't, so you can definitely sneak it in, and again, just like anything else in this game, the return is really high. Similarly to the things like the IID JL from Team Gohan or the TK beam from SSJ Goku, you have to kind of sneak this one in from minus frames, but again, it's another way to hit people without assists, which is kind of nice. Hopefully this helped. I definitely encourage you to look at your character's tools and see if they have anything like this. Of course, you have your core mix-ups as well, but if you have something you can sneak in too that's fast and hard to deal with, that will definitely help you, especially when you don't have assists. And it matters more for this season because the assists don't regen the same as they used to. If you're struggling to find something, don't be afraid to just watch matches of someone playing your character and see what they do. As usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.